It's a 1998 Seadoo GSX Limited. It's got the 951 engine in it, rotax. It's my first jet ski, but probably not my last. So this will be my Florida wintertime project. I'm going to refresh everything, possibly paint the white, remove the stickers, and rebuild the engine, most likely, and replace the old worn out parts. I got the jet ski and trailer for $600. Not bad. And the engine's good. It just has some electrical issues at this time. But here's the before video. I'm going to be pulling this engine out. There are some electrical issues that I have to fix. It keeps popping some fuse, but it appears there's compression in the engine and everything. And it looks like this was somewhat recently pulled out and cleaned up. The carburetors look kind of rough. I'm sure that's from salt water usage. So I'm probably going to get rid of those and get a new set of carburetors. But I'm pretty much going to pull everything out, do my research, and see what parts I could reuse, and probably rebuild the engine if it's needed. And I'm going to do this all with no jet ski experience whatsoever. That's how I do things. So I have everything loose, everything disconnected. The drive shaft's disconnected, all the lines are disconnected, all the wires are disconnected. It's engine's loose, and I'm about to pull it out, set it on this piece of wood here. So here we go. So I had to remove the carbs so that way I could pull the engine out. Now it's time to pull the engine out and sit it on top of this piece of wood here. There it is. Pulled it out. Pretty easy. I had to take the spark plugs out to make room to fit it. But came out pretty easy. So here's my 951. Rotax engine. The guy I got the jet ski from, he told me that the engine was pulled out and cleaned up, but not rebuilt. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull everything apart, probably rebuild. As you see, they reused some covers and didn't really clean these up too well. So I'm going to just take all this apart. I might bypass the oil pump. Not sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I will. So I'm going to get to taking it apart. This is the stator. The inside of the cover looks pretty good. Way better than the outside. But it looks to me like I can finish the outside and not have to change it. This is the oil pump. And these lines here come from the oil pump to each of the intake ports. What you do is you unbolt this 10mm, and you can just pop the hoses right off. Then you would put your caps on there. You would remove this from the stator cover and put a block plate on there.
Everything here looks pretty normal, but I will take everything apart anyway and clean everything out. You go ahead and use an Allen key and unscrew both of these screws, and the oil pump comes right off. That's where we put the blocking plate. I like to take everything and put them in a box. That way I have all my parts contained. Removal of stator internals. You take an Allen key, loosen all three of these bolts and these two bolts here. Oh, and these two bolts here. And these two bolts here. And this whole assembly just comes right out. Of the exhaust manifold, these bolts here, remove all those. I'm having trouble with this one, but it's coming out. As you see, some of the threads are a little bit chewed up, so depending how, if they clean up well, I'll reuse them. If not, I'll grab a better condition manifold on eBay. Removal of these adapter plates, 4 10mm bolts. Comes right off. Removal of the starter pinion gear assembly here. Remove these two Allen keys, screws. Whole assembly comes out. Nice and greasy. Removal of the starter. Of course, the battery wire is disconnected. There's 1, 2 Allen key bolts to remove. And I think that's it. There you go. 2 bolts. Starter comes right out. I did locate some damage on the wall of the piston here and this cylinder here, and the other one doesn't look too bad as far as what I can see. Pull these reed valves out. A little bit more rust damage there than the cylinder. I definitely found some damage in that cylinder. The good thing is it still has some compression. Definitely rebuilding. Which is fine with me. I was going to do it anyway. I just hope this top end's good. Otherwise I'll have to get another one. To remove these valves, 4 screws, Allen keys, and they come right out. I will probably have to cut these down to compensate for the bigger bore, because I'm sure this is going to have to be bored out. To remove this mounting plate here, just an Allen key, an Allen wrench. Now to pull the head off, remove all these bolts. Use a cross pattern so that way the pressure is distributed evenly. All the bolts are taken out. This is the head gasket. Oh shit, don't lose these pins. This is an alignment pin. Looks like the one goes there too, but the one for here is missing. I think somebody just threw this engine back together. They painted it, cleaned it up, threw it back together, and sold it to me. I mean, that's fine. I got it dirt cheap, so I was expecting to do this anyway. And now this head should come right off the pistons. Yeah, do it that way. Oh shit! I'm using my chin to hold the phone. Each one of these studs has a rubber O-ring down in here. So what happens is when you try to lift this head off with these on, that O-ring gets bound up. Oh, look over here. And it's hard to pull it past. I got a few of them out, but what I'm going to go ahead and do, put 2 bolts on here, tighten them, and I'm going to take, I have to do it anyway, I have to take each one of these studs out. Then it'll be super easy to just pull the head right off. I think it's buildable, rebuildable, bore it out. The bottom end from here, from what I can see, looks pretty good. I won't really be able to tell until I take it all out, but there you have it. You take some these special clamp pliers and you squeeze the spring retainer, pop it out of there. Booyah! Took the pistons out. There's the damaged piston. Pretty freaking chewed up, man. I wonder if it hit. I think the bottom end is good, but I'm going to split the case, check everything out, make sure, rebuild, perhaps. Just removed all these bolts. Let's stick a puller on it. It all came out. 2 pieces here. The flywheel and the stator magnet. There's the other seal. For this, drive shaft adapter and harmonic balancer, I believe it is. I removed these bolts here. There's a bolt here. I removed it. And now I'm going to put a puller on it and pull this off of this shaft, the drive shaft. Now, in order to spin this, what I did was I put 2 pieces of wood across here and then put that through it. So that way as I turned it, the wood, watch when it's coming down, the wood is going to hold it in place while I'm turning it counterclockwise, so I can loosen everything. Okay, time to pull this off. So it came right off. What I did was I put the bolt in here, seat against this push rod and this threaded bolt, and use the puller. Took a whole 30 seconds. There's the seal. That's it. Now for the bottom end. I'm going to split the case so I could pull the crankshaft out. Everything else is stripped. Everything else is off. found it to split the case easier once you have all the bolts out. Just take a couple washers and put them in this hole here to fill up the gap for a 1/2-inch socket. Once you turn this, as you see, it splits the case. There's one of these on each side, so you can split the case. You can start it here and then just kind of like pry it across and it'll come up evenly. Here's the engine case split. The crankcase, that is. You'll find pins here. What they did when they rebuilt this, they siliconed the pins down, which is a good idea, I guess. There's the cases split. Case, crankshaft, and counterbalance shaft. I'll probably go ahead and have it rebuilt. Both of them, new bearings and seals, and get it trued up and everything. Doesn't feel too deep. I'm freaking starving. Let's see what I have here. Oh man, so hungry. Oh yes, my favorite. Oh wow, cylinders and a head. Wow, that's gonna be good. What do we have here? Wow, I haven't had this in such a long time. Boiled carburetor. Oh wow. Oh, I can't wait. It's tasty. Yum. Check it out. I pulled it out of the oven and sleeve's coming out. And voila. I basically put the 2x4 in here. Bah, knocked it out with a hammer. Came out very easy.
Okay, after doing some research, I found out that I cannot replace the cylinders myself because they will need to be bored to standard size anyway. So I sent them to full bore to get new cylinders put in and them to be bored out to standard size so I could put standard size pistons in. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would. I'm going to also have an engine rebuild video coming out as well once I receive all my parts. Thanks for watching.